Hi everyone, Tom Gentile. Welcome to my Black Friday Nothing to Sell Market Outlook. I decided I'd do something that no one else is doing here on Black Friday, and that's actually providing you with some information. And so here we go. First, look at what the money calendar is telling us. So coming into this week, we're seeing still a lot of green, even though the last couple of weeks we've seen new market highs, continue to see new market highs. Check this out. Of all of the stuff we see on the screen, starting from the bottom, Dow Jones Industrial Average DIA, SPY, MDY Midcap, and NDX NASDAQ, all still showing money calendar bullishness to the upside between now and, say, mid-December to end of December. So this is a good-looking sign here that 9 of the last 10 years the market has moved higher between now and mid to end of December, depending on the actual index you're looking at. Let's go ahead and take a look at the four corners of the market and then why I don't want anything to do with buying gold right now. So, S&P, new highs, new lows with implied volatility, although we're starting to see a little bit of a pop-up here. I imagine this has to do with the upcoming Fed meeting that's going to be happening very soon. Look at the bond market, and you can see the exact opposites going on. Bonds have moved lower. They've now dropped down to new yearly lows. Implied spiked, but it's now come back down, suggesting that that now everybody is feeling very normal about the new bond rates. I do think we're going to see some volatility jumping around after the Fed meeting, but for right now, I expect the things to stay the same with TLT and the bond group. Looking at FXE and the Eurodollar currency, this one too has fallen to new lows. New lows for the year. 105, which was a resistance level, has now become support. I expect to see FXE par with the U.S. dollar, which is something that no one has ever thought about, but it looks like it's likely to happen here as the U.S. dollar and interest rates continue to get stronger and stronger. And that puts a hurting on things like commodities. And so when I look at the price of oil, and this is USO, and I see it for any reason moving higher, at least for the next couple months, I like to be short and like to be on the bearish side of oil. I don't think fundamentally that anybody in the Middle East is going to agree on any kind of cutting of output. And so I do think that you're going to continue to see oil flowing from the Middle East, which is going to push these prices and going to have a negative impact on prices themselves. USO, I expect it to be back below 10 sooner rather than later. And finally, gold. All right, why do I not want to buy gold? Because it makes sense to buy gold during the holidays, right? Wrong. Last 7 years, GLD has actually dropped between now and Christmas Day. And I see that on our new holiday trader, which is soon to be out for all of our tools folks that are complete traders or higher. And so you're going to be able to track every U.S. holiday and look at the major stocks. In this case, we put GLD in here. We look back 7 years, and between 85 and 100% of the time. We've seen, in this case, 13 days before Christmas, we've seen a drop of nearly 3% in gold prices, and you can see it right here on a year-by-year screen. And so this just tells me that if I want to be a buyer in gold, if I think there's going to be some upsetting that goes on from the U.S. economy or from the world economy, maybe it's best if I wait until after the holidays before I get long the yellow metal. All right, details and a full report are available at www.tomsoptiontools.com. And if you're a member, you can have access to that as well as our more detailed insights on how we're using our tools. If you're not a member, check out our free trial. See that little arrow there to the right? If you go to tomsoptiontools.com, click on the 7-day free trial, and you can get free access to everything I just mentioned and so much more. Have a great weekend, folks. Hey, trade and shop online. That's the smart thing to do. I'll see you next week.